All right. Well, hello. I just lost my shoe. I just lost my shoe. There we go.
Woohoo!
Hello, Back Porchers on
Yes.
Spotify and on YouTube. Good
Yes.
morning, everybody. How are
Good
we?
morning. We are good. I think we're good. Are you good?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm waking up. My brain is not firing on all six this morning.
I'm the same way because I was out of creamer, and I love creamer in my coffee, and I did not want just sweet black coffee, so I had to stop my twice dailies, and now I'm drinking my coffee.
I'm drinking my coffee too, and it's black.
Cheers. Why is it black?
Because I like creamer too, but I do like black coffee, especially if it's flavored black coffee. Flavored black coffee.
Well, you have more hair on your chest than I do. I can't do it. Do you?
I don't know. That's my secret. No, my dad always used to say that when I was a kid because he's a coffee. I don't know. The man always has coffee going. And when I was little, especially, he had this one coffee mug he always drank coffee out of. And I'll always be like, "Can I have a drink of that?" And he's like, "No, you don't want it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He said, "Put hair on your chest." And then he'd always kind of pull down his shirt and show me his chest hair. Much to my disappointment and probably my husband's thankfulness, I have not grown chest hair.
That's good.
Yet. But I am in the throes of menopause, so
you never know.
You never know. I could have a beard next week. I mean, I'm serious. It's weird shit's happening to my body. And I don't like it.
Welcome to menopause.
I don't like it one bit. It's scary. But, I've said a million times, in my mind, I'm 20.
Right.
My body is like, nah. You're not. You're not, 40. Girl. You 40?
45.
Yeah, I wish.
50.
I'm not. I'm almost.
No, May, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll tell you when it's her birthday, and y'all can wish her happy birthday.
Yes, but I'm not. I'm not freaking out about it.
That's good.
I mean, as of yet. Now, I'm not there yet, but I'm not. It's just 30. Here's what's weird. When I turned 30, that was weird.
I was going to say that was me.
Because it was like, I'd gotten used to being 20-something, and 20-something was cool and young and hip, and then 30, I remember when you were when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, 30
was old.
Ancient.
Yes. When I turned 30, I was very much not a crisis, what do they say, existential crisis?
Yes.
I was like, what have I done with my life? I'm 30 years old. Now I'm 45. And I'm telling you, 40 was great. I had a great time. It was fun. It didn't faze me. 43, weirdly enough, was hard for me. Because I was just like, wow. 43, I'm almost and now I'm fine with 45. So what's weird?
A good friend of mine just turned 53,
and
she said 53 bothered her.
Yeah.
50 didn't bother her, but 53.
Yeah, so it's odd.
When I turned 30, I was I had a 1-year-old, so I was busy, but it was weird. As I said, 40. I was raising a toddler. I had a 2-year-old, and I was just trying to survive that because he was a psycho as a toddler. God love him. I love that boy, but I thought I was a good parent with my first kid because she was so easy. Best, easiest toddler on the face of this earth. I mean, just compliant, rule follower. Yeah.
Then it was over.
Yeah, then it was over. But so far, 50 is not, thinking about it is not bothering me so much. I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful. I like where my life is in a lot of ways, and we're going to talk about some of that today. Not my 50th birthday, but I like where my life is in a lot of ways. It's definitely got challenges. I feel more balanced as a person.
Yeah.
I've matured in some ways, and I've gained some wisdom in some ways, but I still think I've got some youth to me.
Yeah.
But then, as I said, it's got challenges because, as I'm aging, people I love are aging, and, you're facing things that are not so fun.
Yeah.
So, but what are we talking about today? Not Kim turning 15.
So loving yourself now, right? Like not when you have the best car, the best job, not when you've got it all figured out. Because do we really always ever have it all figured out? But loving yourself now, and in the process, we're all going through a process,
Right.
None of us are ever going to be perfect to where we are. And right now, I feel like I'm in a better place than I've ever been. But I had to start loving myself before I got there,
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, does did 30-year-old Kim think 50-year-old Kim would be still struggling with, trying to lose weight and all this stuff? And no, she did. In my mind, I had, perfect, and I'm not there. But I've got to learn to love myself for who I am today.
Yeah.
And for so long, we're taught, I think in some ways we've got to reach this pinnacle of perfection.
Yeah.
We've got to reach the top.
Yeah.
Before we're worth loving.
Yeah.
And that's just so not true. We've got to love ourselves through the process of whatever we're going through.
Yeah, because I mean, people like you said, we're taught that we have to follow this set pattern. And me and my dad and mom were talking about this yesterday. Like, there's this pattern these days. Like, you graduate high school, you go to college, you do this, you do that. And you've got it all planned out. But what happens when there's a monkey wrench thrown into that?
Right.
Whatever it is. And I think my microphone was messed up. Anyways, I'm loving myself while my microphone is messed up.
Yes.
But no, it's hard to realize that we're worthy because the world's idea of success is so skewed to me.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
The American dream, and you have to have this to be successful, but success...
What kind of car do you drive? Right. What kind of house do you live in? What career do you have?
Yeah, what do people ask as soon as they see you after not seeing you for 20 years? Oh, what do you do now?
Yeah.
And for my problem, whenever I struggled and was not working as much, I was always so afraid of that question. Well, I just do this, and they're thinking why don't you have a full-time job? But really, that's not the question to ask people.
No.
It's how are you doing? Really concerned.
Right. Society, and I mean, we all do it. Listen, my daughter graduated from high school 2 years ago, right? Yeah. And the biggest question she got was, where are you going to school? The biggest question I got, what's Emma doing next?
Yeah.
And the truth is, Emma had kind of a plan. She was going to try college, but she was 18 years old.
Right.
She had no clue what she wanted to do.
Right.
And she had people going off to college and people doing this, and to let her know, hey, it's okay to not know.
Yeah.
And it's okay to take some time. You don't have to figure all this out right this second, right?
Yeah.
And now, a couple of years out, she has decided at this point that college is not her route, but she's pursuing her passion of, she's working a full-time job, but on top of that, she's starting to pursue her passion of music. She's starting to get some music gigs and stuff. And that's really exciting.
Oh, yeah.
But saying all this, I watched her, and not just her, it's anybody this time of year, graduation's coming up. Well, what's such and such going to do? And we put so much pressure on all of us as a society, right? To, have your game plan figured out, what you're going to do, that you almost do feel left behind.
Yeah.
Maybe give you some feelings of unworthiness. So it's okay to love yourself where you are.
And you're talking about this thing with Am I supposed to say the name? Your daughter. Okay. I didn't know if you said her name.
I think I have said it.
Okay.
I have.
So my niece is kind of in the same place. She's starting over in some ways. And she's trying to figure out what's up with her life. And that's what we've told her. You don't have to have this all figured out. She's 23, and 23 is not that old.
No.
It is not. It is still young. You've got plenty of time. Don't stress so much. We all, what's that thing we've talked about? We have that intrinsic value.
Yes.
We are born with value.
Right.
And we are taught to love ourselves or not to love ourselves. And we, as we grow up, there's a lot of us have had trauma and stuff. And the message we get is not that our parents didn't love us, but that maybe, you always, I think as a child, take on that feeling of, well, this is my fault.
Right.
I don't know why we do that necessarily, but you feel like if your parents aren't happy, it's because of you sometimes. You know what I mean?
I don't know why
I don't know why we do that, but
we all internalize things.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not happy. I'm here. Am I the cause? I don't know. I mean, that goes much
deeper than we know. Yeah.
That's beyond our pay grade.
It really is. Yes. But I just feel like if we could realize that we were perfectly made, really, think about a little baby that comes into this world. They don't know wrong from right. They don't know anything. They know they need love. They need to drink. They need, and they cry, and they can't even express what they need at that point.
They're going on pure instinct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but as we age and get older, there comes a time, whether we get made fun of at school or whatever, when we start looking within and thinking we're not enough.
Questioning our own value.
Yeah.
And it starts so young. And listen, I do believe some of it is inherited and learned.
I do.
I work with little kids. Now, my little kids are way too little. They're between 1 and 2 years old, So they're all about love, and they're still very much instinct driven. If they want a toy, they're going to go after it.
Right.
And, we're teaching them the good things about being gentle and all that. But we go up to a preschool age, and I have seen in preschool, you wouldn't think, that little 4 and 5-year-olds have the ability or know how to pick on somebody.
Yeah.
But sure enough, I have seen little kids gang up on one about outfits and stuff like that. And it's like, holy crap, where are you learning this from, first of all? And second of all, that little kid, whoever it is, who's being the victim of that, that's doing something to them.
Absolutely.
Whether people don't realize or people don't think, what we put into little kids from infancy all the way up, we're building them up or tearing them down in one way or another.
That's true.
So, and if somebody is tore down, and no matter what environment it is, whether it's bullying, whether it's family, whether what it is, you start carrying that. It starts, I am worthless.
You start picking yourself apart.
Right. Well, Billy doesn't like me because, my hair is red. And so I must, redheads must be terrible. And, those are just wild examples. But
well, it's a safety mechanism because, I'm sad because these people are doing this. So what can I do to fix it?
Mm-hmm.
It's that learned codependency.
Right.
Like, I'm sad because they don't like me. I'm sad because I'm being bullied. So let me fix myself to fit what they want.
Right.
So that I can be safe and happy,
Which does not work in the interim because what works is you got to dig deep within yourself and say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Billy over there, that's his issue.
Yeah.
That's not mine. He's a jerk.
Right.
And he's just a jerk because he's a jerk. It has nothing to do with me.
Right.
So you got to find a way to dig deep. And this is what we're really, the crux of our conversation today is how to start loving yourself in the moment.
Yeah.
Not waiting, like you said, for the perfect job, for the perfect car, for the perfect body, because you're never going to get all that.
Right.
Even the people on the face of this earth that seem like they have it all.
Yeah.
I promise you, they don't.
No.
And I promise you, they have their own insecurities.
Absolutely.
So the like I said, the crux of the matter today is how do I start loving myself right now?
Right.
My warts and all. How do I look at myself and say I am worth something?
Well, I think part of it is what I've learned in therapy is you start taking care of yourself, which in essence is, and sometimes, that's not an easy thing. Like the cart comes before the horse kind of thing. But if you start standing up for yourself, while other people put you down, I can either say, oh yeah, I'm worthless. Or I can say, no, like I am not worthless.
Right.
And the more you do that, I think the more you'll say, well, you'll start to believe it,
Right.
And it's just, and also knowing somebody, nobody told us we were born with value. At least a lot of people, I'm not saying nobody ever did, but a lot of us growing up, we weren't told we have value. And it wasn't that we necessarily were told we were worthless, but we didn't grow up saying, hey, like, I'm worth something. I matter. I'm important. That's not.
Those words are important, and I think a lot of us are guilty.
Yeah,
I'm guilty included. Why do I have to say it?
Right.
I'm showing it, but you know what?
Right.
Showing it is important.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I can tell you I love you every day.
Right.
And beat the crap out of you.
Right.
Actions and words are not lining up, but
That's
actions
true.
and words together
are beautiful
and powerful.
Yeah.
So and it takes more, some people think, well, of course I loved you. You had a roof over your head.
Right.
You had food on your table. I didn't beat you. I didn't abuse you.
Right.
Did you lift me up? Did
Right.
you, but also in the same thing, we can blame, we can blame.
But it's also, always on us.
It's on us to say, okay, maybe this wasn't right in my life, but what am I going to do about it?
Right.
Am I going to sit back here and cry because boo-hoo, I was abused or I was a victim? And I'm not making light of anybody that was abused or victimized.
Right.
I am not, because that's terrible and heinous. But the beautiful thing about, I guess, learning to love yourself.
Yeah.
Is saying, I'm not that person.
Right.
I am not that abused victim.
Right.
I am me
Right.
standing on my own 2 feet, and I am worth something.
Yeah.
And these people that did this crap to me back there,
right.
It was terrible and it was horrible. I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
But that's on them.
It is. And the stuff you're talking about, that inner child stuff, as an adult, looking back, like I have learned. So I was telling my niece this. I have a picture of me as about a 1-year-old.
Oh, you were the cutest little thing too.
And it's
you're still cute, but I mean, yeah,
I was cuter then.
Well, we're all cuter when we're one. That's
true.
just the truth, you know.
But I had this picture of me, and that was when I was 1 year old. That was before I really had any trauma that I'm aware of. Okay,
right.
Besides like childbirth.
Right.
But there's this picture of me, and I'm sitting there, and I got this cute blonde hair, and I'm just looking at the camera, and I tell Sherry's my niece. I told her, I said, I look at that picture sometimes, and I'm about to start crying.
It's okay.
I tell her, you know what? You are beautiful. You are whole. You have a good life coming. Like, none of the shit that's going to happen to you was your fault.
Right.
And you talk to that, and you don't have to have a picture to do it. Sometimes I will talk to my inner child, and I'm just like, you know what? You are going to be okay. You are a wonderful person. You are loved. And when you talk, like you would talk to your own child or your niece or your nephew, and you tell yourself, you speak to that internal child because it's still there.
Sure.
And I've even patted myself, and it sounds crazy probably to some people, but talking to that picture or talking to that little me, like I said, I almost cried just talking about it because it's so precious to say, you know what, that little kid did not deserve that shit that happened to her, you know, and she didn't deserve bullying, and she didn't deserve this, and she didn't deserve that. She deserved all the love in the world. And like we've talked about, everybody does the best with what they have.
Right.
I'm not like blaming my parents and saying they were horrible people, but through life, a lot of times we learn that we're not good enough.
Right.
And going back to that place with that picture with me before any really bad shit happened and saying, you know what, you are important, you matter, you're going to get through this, you're beautiful. And it's just, it's very powerful.
There's I think it's in the Bible, so I'll throw it. But there's a saying: "There's life and death in the power of the tongue," and that is so true. I will talk to myself. I guess we all do. I don't know. I might be crazy.
No, I am crazy.
She is certified. I'm not. But no, I mean, like sometimes, like when I'm doing something, especially like if I'm by myself or whatever, whether it be if I'm exercising, if I'm trying to lift something or whatever, if I'm struggling with something, I have found myself before like, Kim, come on, you stupid piece of crap, get off your ass and get this done.
Right.
What's that doing? But if I stop and say, Kim, come on, you got this, girl, you got it, you got it. It is amazing what just me talking to myself from a negative to a positive, what difference it makes. It's
huge.
It's so crazy. And I tell you one thing, you talking to your picture, that's not crazy to me.
Yeah.
One thing I have done, I've told you, I'm on this meditation journey, and it's been amazing. And one of the meditations I did one time, because I struggle. I'm not, where I want to be physically, blah, blah, blah. I can list a dozen things or more of what I would like to change about myself, things that I'm working on changing. But I did this meditation one day of self-love. And I don't know, we're taught sometimes that self-love is a selfish negative thing, right?
But it is not.
It's not.
We come to terms.
And this meditation I did, you had to visualize yourself exactly as you are now, not like 20 pounds lighter, not with no wrinkles, not with any of that, but just as you are. And in that meditation, you're not verbally doing it, but mentally talking to yourself and giving yourself self affirmations like you are worth love, you are worth. And as I was doing this, if anyone saw me, they would think, oh, Kim's got lost her mind. I've got headphones on. I've got my eyes closed. And I've just got tears streaming down my face because it was powerful. Just to stop and say, wait a minute. You are worth something just as you are. You bring value to this world. You might not be the CEO of a company. You might not be doing this, but you have value. And believe it or not, if something happened to you and you ceased from existing on this planet today, you would be missed.
Oh, absolutely.
And that was like powerful. Because my whole life. Nobody would miss me if I was gone. You know, that victim mentality of woe is me, poor pitiful Kim. You know, that's gotten me nowhere mentally in my life, except just sadder and more down.
Yeah. Well, what you were saying really struck a nerve with me about talking to yourself. I mean, that whole thing is beautiful, talking to yourself in good ways, and how you used to give yourself that negative self-talk and you switched to positive. And I think as you learn to love yourself, like, because there was one time I did the same thing. I was driving in the car and I hit a curb. And normally I'd be like, dumbass, what are you thinking? You know, why did you do that? But now I was like, you know what? You got it, baby girl. Let it ride off your back or roll off your back. Like,
I almost took a car out on the bypass.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Like, it was in my blind spot.
Oh,
and
that's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
And nothing happened, thank God. I'm sure I scared the piss out of the person that I almost took out because I scared the piss out of myself.
Yeah.
I'm usually a good driver. I am, but accidents happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, for like 10 minutes, I was like, who taught you how to drive?
Yeah.
I do slip back into those old habits.
We all do, yeah.
Don't think that I'm walking here in perfection and look at Guru Kim, just follow her advice. No, I slip back into old habits. But the more you practice that self-love and that intrinsic value.
Yes,
I can never say that word. I want to say that word so bad because it makes me sound smart when I say it.
I stole it from my therapist. It's not mine.
Intrinsic?
Yes.
Intrinsic value. Now I don't know what I was going to use it in the sentence for. So, but no, we all do have it. Yeah. And somehow or another, and I think we are taught that.
Yeah.
We can even be taught that, I hate to say it, in religious circles.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. You're not worthy, you know, and I'm not saying, like, I know we'll never measure up to God, but God knows we'll never measure up to him. I don't think he's looking down on us saying, well, you're a heathen and, you know, you're not worth anything. In fact, I'm going to throw out a scripture, Psalms 139. Whether you're a scripture reader or not, it says you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
That's
and
true.
The good thoughts that God thinks about you. So don't tell me, I'm sorry. He loves us. He thinks we're awesome. I believe that. God thinks we're awesome. It says he made us in our image. And there's a song, and it said, I'm sorry if I ever led you to believe that your creator wasn't proud of what he made.
Right.
It's a beautiful song, and it's so true.
I challenge people, and this is not to be a religious podcast situation, but I challenge people. Because the thing that changed me, I will never forget this. This was the start of my paradigm shift with all that. I remember coming back from my cousin's funeral in Crossville. She died in 2021 of COVID, the memorial service. And anyway, it was held at a church, and I was coming back with my two sisters and my brother-in-law, and we were just talking about the service. And I remember I said, you know, I know I'm not worthy of God's love, but, and my sister stopped me back there, and she said, just right there, she said, who told you you're not worthy of God's love?
Right.
And I was like, well, I've always been taught that. You know, that's what we're taught from the beginning. You're not worthy, and your only out is this direction right here. And she's like, oh, I don't view it that way. Yeah. And when she said that, she didn't give me a sermon. She didn't give me anything. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, this being, whatever it is, created me.
Right.
You know, I had a part in creating my kids. You know what I'm saying? And I surely don't look at them and say, God, you're not worthy of my love.
Right.
God, you're worthless.
No.
What a piece of shit you are.
Yeah.
You know, that I don't know. That just changed me right there. And that set a path. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
And it's taken a few years, and I know the journey's not over.
Yeah.
Of saying, okay, you do have worth. Yeah. Wait a minute. You've looked at this wrong.
Yeah.
Your entire life.
Yeah.
You know, at least from my eyes. I cannot... I'm not trying to preach a new gospel or whatever.
So that was one of my main experiences that caused me to kind of leave. And I do go to church sometimes, and I go to a Bible study, and I enjoy it. But the reason I quit for a while and went totally different from what I believed was I felt like by what was being said that I was not good enough to go to that church. And it wasn't directed towards me in general, just the general idea of, you know, get right or get out. And I thought, you know what, I'm never going to be right enough.
Right.
Like, I can't do this. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. But God does not expect us to be perfect. And he loves us how we are.
We're living a human experience.
Yeah.
However you look at it, however you view spiritually, religiously, or whatever.
Right.
We're humans.
Yeah, we're not trying to like preach to you.
No. Because listen, Mary and I would preach you 2 different sermons if we tried, because our beliefs are kind of different, and that's okay. But no, shit. Where was I going?
I'm so sorry.
That's your fault.
I messed you
up.
You
messed me up. 30 lashes for you. Are you trying to give me brain power to say? I don't know what I was going to say. I really don't.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was.
Well, here I'll jump in where you were talking about the negative self-talk.
Yes.
So thought stopping is a huge thing, and I've talked about this before. I think, like, say you're sitting there, and all of a sudden, like, because we have this self-talk going on in our head that we don't always even pay attention to.
Right.
And so if you're sitting there and you're doing fine and you feel okay, and then all of a sudden you feel like crap. All right, just instantly. Like, so you're going to say, okay, stop everything. What was I just thinking? What was the last thought I remember? And generally it was a negative thought. And so what you do, you're like, no. You stop and you replace that negative thought with a positive thought. And this is not toxic positivity. This is redirecting that negative self-talk, right. And it works. Yes. It really works.
Toxic positivity is its own demon in its way. And I find myself sometimes, because I am trying to be more positive. Right. I'm like, am I becoming toxic? Positive? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for
listen,
me,
if you cut your leg off in my kitchen, right. My toxic positivity
is not going to help.
Right. Oh, look, you could get a peg leg. You could be a pirate. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think toxic positivity is the worst example of that I've ever seen, and it used to make me so angry, and still does. Choose happy. Just choose to be happy. No, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. You can't always if you've ever been in the throes of a deep, dark depression.
What is there to be happy
about?
Right.
Like, you can't just choose it. Do people honestly think you would go through that? I mean, some people do. Like, if all I could say was, I choose to be happy. No.
Right.
Sorry. It just doesn't happen. But that's, to me, toxic positivity it's making it so what you feel doesn't matter. Like you're wrong for being depressed. You're wrong for doing this. And I just had a lady one time at church tell me, honey, if you'll just read your Bible every day, you won't be depressed anymore. And I was like, lady, you don't have a clue about me.
No.
I was reading my Bible every day when I had a psychiatric breakdown. So, people don't know.
I'm not toxic positive.
No,
because
you are not.
I do try. What I am trying to do is when people are in the throes.
Right.
Not to say, get over it.
Not to discount their feelings.
No, because listen, depression is horrible. Yeah. I have experienced it on some levels.
Yeah.
I've watched other people experience it on levels that are just like, it's so sad. Yeah. I mean, for people who can't even literally get out of bed because something is, it's just, it's scary. It's sad. I would encourage people to dig deep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And find out that life is still worth living.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope
there's always hope.
Right. And we talked about that last week. But learning to love yourself where you are is so important. And listen, here's the saddest truth of it all. Now look at the camera while I say this. There's always going to be somebody skinnier.
Yep.
There's always going to be somebody smarter.
Yep.
There's always going to be somebody younger. And there's always going to be somebody richer.
Yeah.
And prettier and just whatever. So just be the best you can be. You know what I'm saying? Comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I can look at somebody's positive attributes and say, I want to be more like that person. I like that. But if, you're driving off in your Ferrari today and going to your mansion and I'm sitting here in my house and I'm jealous and comparing, what you've got against what I've got.
Yeah.
That gets me nowhere.
Well, right. And I was going to say, like, this is a good instance of what you're talking about for me. Like, I love people that are able to draw. Like, to me, that is such a cool talent.
Oh, it is a cool talent.
But, like, I can write poetry, like, really well. You know what I'm saying?
That's a cool talent, too.
Yeah. And so, like, if I sit there all the time and say, well, I wish I could draw, and be jealous because they can draw and be unhappy because I can't draw, when I can really just write a poem about it. You know what I mean? We all have our own good. We all have something that we're better at others than.
Sure.
Does
it make you feel better that I can't write a poem nor draw?
You've written poems in the past that were darn good. I know you have. I've read them.
Yeah, but somehow or another, I don't know why. Literally, that ability just it came and it went. It was just a fleeting, Well, but so you're better than me.
No, but that's the whole point. We all have strengths.
Better than I
do. Practicing gratitude. What you're talking about is being jealous and being, and that's not a toxic positivity thing. I know I have had times to where I've been so unthankful and not realized it, and I'm miserable. When I stop and say, you know what, I've got a roof over my head, I have food to eat, I have, a warm place, I have clothes to wear. And I'm not saying everybody has the perfect set of that, but in America, we're pretty blessed, even at our weakest, worst points. But there's always something to be grateful for.
Yes.
Always.
Love yourself. You are worth loving exactly where you are.
Oh, 100%.
And if you don't believe that, you're never going to get any better. And I don't care where you are. You can change if you want to change. I do believe that people can change if they want to change.
And the thing is, screw what other people say. And I don't mean you can't take advice. I don't mean you can't listen to people's stuff. But if somebody is trying to control your life and direct you somewhere that you don't even know if you want to go, you don't have to follow the path other people follow to love yourself. Your decisions are just as good as somebody else's.
Right. And your decisions are valid because they're yours.
Right.
You are the only person living your life.
Right.
I can give you the advice all day long on how to live your life, but guess what? I've never been in your shoes. I don't know what it's like to be you.
That's right.
I have no clue. Right. So who am I to tell you how to live your life?
And that's one of the biggest ways to love yourself is to say, you know what? I am me. Mm-hmm. I am not you. I am not you. I may have attributes of some of my family and stuff. Right. But I am my own person. And I have every right to make my own decisions, to love myself. Because, damn it, I matter. What is that? What was that thing?
Stuart
Yes, Smalley. We talked about this before.
I am good enough. I am smart enough. And doggone it,
people like me. And it's true.
It is true. And I mean, I think that was like in the 90s that was made. And, of course, everybody laughed. And, this is but, my God, why is that? Yeah. Why is that wrong to say?
The Help, the movie The Help.
Oh, I love that movie.
You is good, you is smart, you is kind, you is important. Is that what it was?
I believe so.
And she would tell that little girl those beautiful messages.
All the time. Yeah. That was beautiful because her mama was mean as hell to her.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the book?
No, but I need to.
The book is even better than the movie, and the movie is spectacular. Yeah. It was one of those books I could not put down. Yeah. Like I picked up and I was just mesmerized, and my God, just what a dark time in history.
Oh yeah. I mean, racism, I know that's not our topic, but like people will hate you because of the color of your damn skin. Come on.
That's so
that
crazy.
Is ridiculous.
That is so crazy.
And we were recently there, like 1960,
Yeah. People will hate you over the color of your skin. Yeah. People will hate you because of the size of your body. People will hate you because of your sexual orientation. People will hate you just because they have hate in their heart.
And because they hate themselves most of the time.
It has not a damn thing to do about you personally. It is their own demons that they're scared to face. Yeah. Yeah. In a nutshell.
And they project it onto you and treat you like shit. It's really not about you.
It's not.
It's anybody who's unkind to you and mean to you, it's their own shit.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you're bad. It means that they've got their own shit.
Yes. You're a mirror to them. They're seeing something in you that they don't like about them. Right. No matter what it is. It's weird.
Jewel, the song Pieces of You. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
Y'all look it up. It's Jewel, Pieces of You, but it's and some of it's pretty intense, but I was showing it to my niece, and the whole premise is these people hate this person for being, this or that. And it's like, do you hate them because they're pieces of you? Ooh. And what you just said is exactly true. Like I'll see something in somebody that I don't like, and so I reach out and attack them, but it's really because it's a piece of me.
It's a mirror of your own self. And that is so humbling. Yeah. Because I know, there are times I don't like people because, they're just nasty, low down. Yeah. There are people like that for sure. You don't like Charles Manson, because he was not a cool dude, right? But sometimes you don't like somebody because it does, and when it reflects you, man, that hits.
It hurts.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's such a growing moment if you let it be.
If you let it be.
If you let it be, you can say, okay, I'm seeing that behavior in that person.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we're about to wrap up. We're running out of time. But Julie, if you're listening, here's your shout out. So this is a test to see if you're really watching. Hi, Julie. I love you, Juju. I told my friend Julie I'd give her a shout out on the podcast. Yes.
Oh, hold on. We just talked about pieces. I'm going to say this one thing.
Are you going to wrap us up?
Oh, I don't have to. I can. So me and my mom and my stepdad were talking last night, and my stepdad and me ended up, after mom fell asleep, we talked for 2 hours at least more. And we were talking about pieces and how the different pieces of our lives, God has kind of woven different places. Anyways, so I said it's like there's a never-ending kaleidoscope of God, and like the kaleidoscope, if you've ever looked at a kaleidoscope, and you change it and you see all these beautiful pieces melding together and all the colors. And our life, I feel, is like that, you know?
You're on something.
Yeah, you have a piece here and a piece there, and I have a piece of you, and you have a piece of me, and it's all melding into this beautiful creation. I really feel like we all have...
We're all one. We're all part of...
We really are.
To me,
yeah,
we're all part of the one.
Oh, I 100% agree.
We've all got pieces of our Creator. Whoever you see that... Yeah, that's deep. That's good. So, love everybody. Love people you don't even think deserve it, you know, because they need it probably more than even you or I.
And love yourself. You are worthy. You freaking matter.
You do.
Stop beating the hell out of yourself. You will never have it perfect. Love yourself where you are today because you deserve it.
And you will improve.
You will. Absolutely.
Life is a journey. So we never sit still. You got to keep moving and growing. So start loving yourself today, and tomorrow you'll even find more to love about yourself.
Yeah,
it's amazing how that works. Thank you for joining in. Please like, subscribe, share. Help us get the word out there. Thanks for being a back porch. I guess, are we going to have to change our name to the kitchen table?
I don't know. The back porchies. I know the kitchen table. Well, the back porch is technically behind this beautiful
curtain, yeah,
whatever it is.
My Walmart
tapestry.
Yes, direct from Wally World. You can get these. That's where I got. They're blackout curtains. They're the nicest thing ever. Thanks, guys, for joining. We'll see you next week on the back porch.
Have a good one.
I'm gonna come and turn off the button.